sound the alarms, Banff Nation, everybody out there. Gail Simone knows who we are and tweeted about us. Oh my God.
Can you believe it? I just, out of nowhere, like, full disclosure, y'all, we've been wanting to get Gail Simone on here, obviously, but like, I know I haven't reached out. We just haven't had a chance. And to be honest, on my front, I'm scared shitless to reach out to her rep because, you know, rejection's a scary thing no matter how many times you get it. But anyways, so when I saw it just out of left field, she's just like, by the way, this pod's amazing. You should listen to them and subscribe. I was like, I don't know what we did to deserve that, but thank you so much, Gail. We manifested again, Lisa. It's another Simply Amazing manifestation.
We did manifest that. We manifested Gail writing Kurt, and now we manifested her noticing us. Oh my God, guys. We can officially call her a friend of the pod. I am losing my mind.
I mean, the second she's, hopefully we can get her on here.
Yes.
I need to stop being a chicken shit and send an email. But anyways, thank you, Gail, for listening. And whoever the hell got her to listen, I don't know who got her attention about it, but if anybody did, thank you too. You're simply amazing, obviously.
I want to say it was Uatu, the Watcher, because he's always watching.
Oh, you're so right. Thank you. Thank you. He is our celebrity listener of the day, other than Gail. Obviously.
Uatu. And I mean, he watches everything. So it's not like it's that, special, but
it is special though, because he watches, but he's not supposed to intervene. He intervened. That's a huge honor.
There's only like 2 times he ever intervened. One time to tell Hank McCoy that he's a piece of shit, and one time to get Gail Simone to notice us. So there you
go. Amazing. I'm so stoked.
Well, Gail, we love you, and we're so excited for you to write Kurt and to read all of it. And
oh my God, so excited! I'm so excited. And then she commented on, because Google Podcast is going away, so we had to put stuff on YouTube because now podcasts are on YouTube instead of Google. I don't know, whatever. Okay. But so I did that, and so then she commented on the YouTube posting of it because I just got those switched over, and she was like, "But I am writing Kurt," and I was just like, "Oh my God." Thank you, Gail. Like, she listened to like multiple things and took the time to say things of her own volition. Like, I just can't. It's just, it's such a huge honor. Like, I don't know if I can even handle meeting her myself right now because I'm just still freaking out talking about it. So it's such a great time. Dreams come true, guys. Just talk about what you love.
Yes.
People are going to see it, like,
listen,
and hear it.
Mariah said it. There can be miracles when you believe. Okay, so just believe.
Listen, by the way, if anybody listening to this pod is keeping track of all our manifestations and which ones come true, please let us know, specifically me, because I want to keep track of this shit. And I need a little help. So we need to get
an Excel doc out there of all this stuff. Yes, but absolutely. I'm going to manifest it. I'm going to manifest that somebody has been keeping track of our manifestations, because it sure isn't one of us, Well, anyway, before this becomes the Gail Simonely amazing podcast, we should talk about what we're going to talk about. But I am Lisa and the OG Nocturne. So welcome everybody to Simply Amazing. And of course, every week with me is the fabulous, and she looks resplendent in green. You know that green you're wearing? That green you're wearing, I'm pretty sure is like very close to the arsenic green that killed much people in the 1800s, but whatever. Lauren, how you doing, girl?
Damn it! Funny story. I got this shirt and the specific color of it because my sibling Skylar said, "Lauren, that color looks great on you, and you have nothing green." And I was like, you know what? Fine. But now I'm just hearing that it reminds Lisa of a horrific, like, catastrophic event from the past. So I will be bothering Skylar about that when they wake up.
I gotta be honest. I'm not 100% sure that that's even close to the color. Now that I think about it, I think the arsenic green was like a deeper, like, I think the green that Scarlett O'Hara wears when she uses the drapes to make a dress. I think that's, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. But anyway, we're both
here. I like
here.
that picture better. Supported. Love it.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, like close to the top of the list of things that I still love, even though they're so fucking problematic, is Gone with the Wind. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I can't. I'll never let go of it. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's an and, right? You love it and you know it's problematic. As long as you got the second piece with it, you're good.
Exactly. I mean, like one time I watched all 3.5 hours of it or whatever in like a crew bar on a cruise ship because I was banned from going into China. Whatever, long story. It's, you know, I just didn't have a visa. I didn't have a visa.
That's not even fair. We don't have time to go into that, but we gotta get into that later, Lisa. What the hell?
No, well, I will tell you, when I was in Tiananmen Square, I was like a superstar, and it had nothing to do with anything except that like I was a 5'10" tall woman with blonde hair at the time. And everybody was just like, I was literally like, it was like either I was Lady Gaga or it was like I was a rhinoceros who escaped the zoo, because everybody just looked at me with this like, oh my God, what the fuck is this thing? So.
That's wild. Like, number 2, you were blonde at one point?
Well, yes, I was. I mean, I've done it all. I mean, I'm in my 40s. You know, we do a lot of self-searching. So.
I mean, I was blonde at one point too, so not fully though. It was just highlights. But anytime I tell people that, they lose their shit, and I'm like, I mean, it was.
I was a blonde kid. Like when I was a kid, I was a blonde. But all three, me and my 2 siblings we were all blondes when we were kids. The only one who's still like naturally blonde is my brother. So, spoiler alert, my sister.
But you know who isn't blonde? Kurt.
Okay, that was a really bad segue. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you with it. No, it's okay. I'm gonna help you with it. You know who loves a blonde? Kurt.
What the fuck? You made that so much better, and you didn't even have to try. I'm so sorry, y'all. This is why Lisa like always opens and closes our episodes, because she knows how to do it for Simply Amazing here. Like,
I mean, I'm just. You know, I mean, I have very few talents, but one of them is this, which turns out makes no money. But
it's dare you? You have many talents, and one of those talents is this podcast.
Yeah, one of those talents is talking about Nightcrawler and remembering that he is a sucker for a woman with blonde hair because of just. I mean, I'm sure it has something to do with being in love with his sister since he was a
Oh
a child.
My God, he just loves women, and you know what? He's fucking right.
It's true. It's true. He does love women, but it's just I feel like I'd like to write a paper that goes into like all of Kurt's choices for women and why they're all like rooted in certain traumas in his early childhood.
Oh, 1,000%, without question.
Because I can't think of one relationship he had that was like super, like Cerise might be the closest thing to like a pretty stable, cool relationship, but like she was also like a freaking a criminal on the run from the Shi'ar Empire. So that's never gonna that can't be your end game, buddy. Just can't be your end game. Okay, we are going way off topic. We're gonna do this one of these episodes, but today we're talking about Uncanny X-Men 73, aka X-Men 35, aka I don't know. It's
Uncanny X-Men number 700, and then the current X-Men 35 run before they go back to a number 1 in August.
Yeah, so it's just another opportunity for Marvel to act like something is like a collector's item and that you should buy it, and in 25 years you'll put your kid through college. Which, number one, if you're putting your kid through college 25 years from then, it's you're a little late because it should have been at 18. But number 2, that never happens. These things are worthless. So don't get all excited. However, we're not going to talk about the whole issue. We are just going to talk about the little Nightcrawler Getting to Know You story by Chris Claremont and illustrated by Salvador Larroca. And I just need to mention one thing that just before we even get started, this is probably the best thing that Chris Claremont has written in like the past 25 years. I'm straight up saying.
I agree. It's definitely it's basically the start of the conversations I think many of us have been looking for with the family, with the retcon, with the quote reveal, with the retcon and everything. It's, can we get this family, at least the core 4, the 2 siblings and the 2 parents, to sit together and just talk and it, actually be a real, conversation, whether it goes well or not, but it needs to actually get into the nuances, not just, oh, great, we love to have you. Oh, yeah, you remember me. Like, no, get into the deep shit because this family's fucked up and they're probably always going to be the poor people. I mean, we love them, but they got issues.
Yeah. Well, I do say that, like, for everything that didn't happen with Kieran Gillen. Oh, my God, I'm looking at my mantle, and I'm like, something's missing. Like, what the fuck is missing? Anyway, total like
real life. Kurt is messing with you. He teleports something out.
Yeah, I'm like, there's something missing. Oh, whatever. I'll figure it out later. So as far as talking about Kurt is concerned, yeah, whatever whatever I was missing from what Kieran Gillen did, like this filled in all the gaps for me. It really helped. It helped that like Kurt is not very forgiving in it, and there's clearly a lot of work to be done. And I also appreciated like that Destiny, talks about how, she can foresee that of the two of them, she's going to be the one that's going to be harder for them to apologize to, or for them to forgive, is what I mean. And yeah, and yeah, I like, it's just a beautiful story. I think it's really well done and it's really well handled. And I have one nitpick, and it's like he's wearing sneakers in like the first panel, and then he's not wearing it, or he's wearing sneakers in the first couple panels, and then like he's not wearing shoes, and I don't understand that. But whatever. I mean,
maybe off the fight. Maybe he said, "Fuck this shit, I'm fighting." It would have been kind of nice to see just like one little panel showing he takes off the shoes, but whatever.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but I do love in this issue too that they talk about Xavier and like his tampering in it, and like Kurt lays some blame where it's due there. And it's like, yeah, even though Xavier did do what Mystique and what they asked him to, and he said he wiped his own memory. I mean, come on. Like, do we trust Xavier? Really? Do we trust Xavier?
No, we definitely don't. And I agree. I like that they really seem to touch on, the main large nuances, at least of, like he really can't forgive Irene for it. And it still is, they still get Kurt's character right, because he says multiple times, yeah, we're family. And so like, basically, I know you're in my life and I want you in my life in some capacity. However, I don't trust you. And I'm not even sure I completely love you beyond the fact that we're technically family until that trust is built back. And that's perfectly in character with Kurt. Because I don't think, even if he's upset, if you're family, he's not just going to throw you to the curb, unless you do something, directly heinous. I mean, this stuff is traumatic as fuck, but it's not like a completely unforgivable crime. It's just a poor life choice. It's really fucking bad, but I liked seeing those nuances. I thought it was interesting that when he was talking to Irene, the first person he brought up that he trusted, by the way, out of nowhere, like Irene did ask, he out of nowhere just goes, Logan, the Wolverine, is my best friend. I trust him with my life, with my very soul. So all you Logan fans out there, I know y'all are eating that shit up, because
I know. I mean,
my God, Claremont really said, throw him with Logan. Like,
it's Pride Month. I mean, we had to, right?
I mean, Claremont clearly did. So like, Thanks, Claremont. I appreciate that. And a couple little things were answered for me with this as well. Like, Rogue calls Kurt her big brother. So I'm like, okay, good. That's clarified. So Kurt is the older one. Not that it completely matters, but I appreciate that. And then this was all Claremont too, because Marvel is still saying that Destiny and Mystique are both his mothers, which is fine. Whatever. Like, I don't really give a shit. But in one panel, when Kurt's about to start like dueling, what do you call it in fencing? Like fencing, but you're like sparring. You're not
sparring. I
guess just call it sparring. Yeah. So he's about to spar with her. He goes, and now Papa, it's my turn at Mystique. So that's clearly Claremont, I think, trying to like reignite the whole, hey, that's the fucking father. I don't fucking care that because she presents as a woman right now that you want to call her the mother. Like, this is what I intended. So I think he's eating that up a bit, which is fun.
It's okay. It's a very this whole thing with Mystique is just like, it straddles the line into like a whole trans discussion that I just don't even want to start. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
I don't think she's trans. I mean, she can actively change her body into whatever it wants, excuse me, including rewriting her DNA to create a baby. So, and to have male genitalia and all that, to my understanding at least. So I'm just like, she's just gender neutral as fuck. She does what she wants. Non-binary, I guess, is the closest term. I don't think it's a discussion of being transgender. It's just she does what she wants. She doesn't give a fuck with her gender. And I think it is, and it's just interesting because, again, with Claremont's original story, she would have been, quote, the man at the time. So it makes sense to call her Papa. Either way, I don't think she really cares what she's called because she doesn't even say anything to diss that. She doesn't care if you call her mom or dad because she's non-binary. She isn't, her gender is whatever. It's care. Not the most important thing about her.
Yeah, exactly. And gender neutral as fuck should be a t-shirt. I love that.
It probably is.
Yeah, it probably
I would be shocked if it wasn't. Happy Pride Month, y'all. But yeah, absolutely. So
I think I want to say that one thing I enjoyed about Rogue, it reminded me a lot of my brother, is like she was very like trying to get both her parents to like talk to him and be like, okay, like how about you talk to your son who you've just reunited with and now knows the truth and knows like all that stuff. How about you talk to him about that? Like, why not talk to him?
Right.
And it like, yeah, my brother, his name is Bill, and we used to call him Dr. Bill because he was like Dr. Phil, and he would get, he would like try to mediate all of everyone's problems. So, and then he would always end up getting yelled at himself. So yeah, that kind of reminded me of that. And I want to talk about like how Kurt talked so much about like that he wasn't angry that they gave him up so much as he was angry that they chose to forget him, which I thought that was really poignant because, it's right. There are 1,000 reasons why a person can't keep their child, and honestly, I mean, to like a lesbian couple, like a lesbian mutant couple on the run in the middle of like Bavaria, where everybody's still got pitchforks for some reason, probably not in the best place to raise a child, especially because they're also terrorists. So
I agree. And so it's tough. I mean, because to be fair, like Mystique and Destiny, they still fucked up, but at the same time, if you think about it, it's like, but what else could they have done? Like, how could they have fucked up less, basically, or how could they have not fucked up? And their options were limited, and by the retcon and everything, they, for the most part, had the best intentions. The interesting part is Destiny, and like you said earlier, I think a lot of us expected Mystique to be the questionable parental figure. I mean, because she is questionable, but her devotion to Kurt and Rogue is actually the least in question right now. And her like ability to do right by them and actually do it. Destiny is actually the one that is most questionable now. And you were definitely right about that, Lisa. Like all these episodes and, before you were like, Destiny's going to be the fucking one. Like, and you're right. They're definitely playing up to, Destiny because of who she is, because of how she sees futures, and because of the choices she makes because of that, and how Mystique is attached to her, how Mystique will go wherever she goes. Mystique can never be the parent that she may even want to attempt to be now to Kurt and Rogue, because she's always going to follow Destiny, and Destiny's making her choices. So I think that dynamic they've created is something I would not have guessed. I think a lot of us would have thought the opposite, and I think it's working. Like,
I agree. I think, it's definitely surprising, but it's very exciting because, the most exciting things are the things that surprise us because, we want to see what's going to happen next, like intrigue is what keeps people subscribed. It's what keeps people plugged in. So just going back to what we were saying about the forgetting and everything. And like you were saying about Destiny, the big thing with Destiny that's going to make it really hard to forgive her is that she has always known what was coming next. You know what I mean? She always knew what the outcome was going to be eventually. And like Raven really didn't. Raven in when it comes down to all of this stuff, like Mystique had the best intentions, whereas Destiny knew nothing was going to go down the way that it was expected to go down. And then when it came to, actually deciding, are we going to erase him from our memory completely? Mystique at least said, I want to know he's mine. I just don't need to know the details, but I want to know that he is my son. And whereas Destiny chose to have him absolutely, completely erased from her mind, which is incredibly callous. And, again, there's nothing wrong with not being able to raise a child, but to then that I understand where Kurt's hurt is there, that like to just not even want to know that this person exists, not even want to know, and especially considering that like he was not a child created in trauma or in any other horrific way. He was created of two people out of love. So that makes it even more hurtful, because it was like, well, clearly the circumstances surrounding his birth were not what made them want to forget. It was his birth and him. So yeah, that's very hurtful.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, the ending just, like you mentioned earlier on, the ending still just kills me. And it's very interesting reading again, because Mystique, she's like being completely honest. She is hurting to leave Rogue and Kurt again. She's hurting to listen to Destiny, and you can kind of tell that she still has that resentment for, doing what Destiny says, and trusting that even though this feels terrible to do, that it's the right decision, I don't know. I'm hoping that over the next few years, even, that we kind of see their relationship evolve too. And we also see Destiny actually evolve as a character, because that's the thing. If you think about it, we haven't had Destiny back that long, and she was dead for like 30 plus years, I think. So she has so much room as a character to not only grow and get better, but also fuck up and fall to the pit of what it is for her, for her as a person to exist, for, oh my God, fucked up the worst, everything's terrible. And she hasn't hit that yet, in my opinion. She's had moments where it felt like she was getting close, there's a freak out, but that worked out. So I'm really interested to see that. And I'm also interested to see if Destiny goes too far at some point, and if Mystique puts her foot down, because to me, I feel like there's an impending dynamic that I don't like that's happening, but I get where they're going with the characters, and it makes sense, I think. If they get to a point where Destiny wants to do something to hurt Rogue and Kurt, whether it's physically or emotionally or whatever, and it's so horrific and terrible, the Mystique puts her foot down, kind of like a parent that, maybe even married for 20 years, everything's, you've had your ups and downs, but it's been okay. But then you one day find out that your husband, wife, significant or whatever, they hurt your kid, they hit your kid or something and did something terrible. And that's, that might be where you put your foot down. Because I know a lot of times in abusive relationships, the line isn't us getting hurt, unfortunately, even though, it'd be great if it was. A lot of times it's, you hurt our child. And so I'm interested to see if Mystique would put her foot down on that and say, I don't care how much I love you, Destiny. Fuck you. You messed with our kids. You messed with my kids. So anyway, I'm wrapped up about that possibility. I don't want that for them, but I'm interested to see if it happens. And if it does, if hopefully Mystique turning on Destiny like that would get her head out of her ass. It reminds me of like the moment in the Black Panther film, the first one, where Okoye turns on her husband. I remember his name. And Okoye is just like, yep, for Wakanda, I would absolutely fucking kill you right now. And the guy realizes how serious she is, and he surrenders. So
I think the issue though with like the Destiny and Mystique thing, and even like the idea of Mystique putting her foot down and all that, is Destiny is so good at manipulating Mystique. Like Destiny, and it has a lot, I'm sure it has a lot to do with her powers, because she can see what the futures are going to be, not like necessarily every single one, but but she is incredibly good at manipulating Mystique. And we saw that in X-Men Blue Origins, where Mystique spends 5 years trying to track her down to kill her because of what happened with their son. And in the moment with the gun cocked that Mystique is about to kill Destiny, Destiny is like, oh my God, by the way, there's a girl over there, she's like 5 years old or 4 years old or whatever, and like, we need to save her right now. So make your choice. Do you want to kill me more than you want to save the child, or do you want to get the child? So it's just, she's incredibly good at manipulating Mystique. So like, I have a hard time, I don't know, it's Mystique and Destiny are more and more starting to remind me of like the queer version of Joker and Harley Quinn, where it's like they're not good for each other, but like literally there's no one else they should be with. I mean, granted, that's different with Joker and Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn should definitely be with Poison Ivy, but it's just that idea of like that kind of couple that is like so traumatic that like their trauma bonds them in a way that is both like toxic for them, but also like there's just literally nobody else they would fit with.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get that from. I still can't fully compare the Joker and Harley Quinn because there's no love on Joker's end in terms of like earnest. It's just fucked up and crazy. I believe Destiny has earnest love. However, that doesn't excuse, you're completely right, her manipulation, and she's so good at manipulating, and that's why I think it'll take at least years of good stories and all that to get to a point where not only can it happen, but it would work to basically get to a point where Mystique says, I've had enough of your manipulation, because we've already had a few of those slight moments here, and we even had that point where, you know, her and Mystique, her and Destiny were hella on the rocks. You know, she still loved her, but they're, you know, hella not in a great place. So yeah, but I agree. Like, who else are they going to be with, and who else would they want to be with, if even anyone? But yeah, I think, yeah, they're interesting because they're definitely they definitely do both love each other, but they're definitely. I think you're right. I think they're not good for each other in terms of, their actual life goals. It's one of those things where you're like, wow, you're a great couple, like on paper, but in reality, ooh, you need to break the fuck up. I'm not saying they need to break up, like, because I want them to. I'm not saying they should actually right now, because they shouldn't. It doesn't make sense. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, and I'm interested to see if Dusty will change, because that's the thing. Could, like I said, you know, if Mystique does put her foot down with that, incite some change from Destiny, whether immediately or over time. There's just so much to go there, because relationships are so complicated. I think sometimes in storytelling in any form, we oversimplify things because we're like, this is what you have to do and this is how it is. But if you think about real relationships, a lot of times we're like, 5 years ago, I didn't think I would be where I am now or with this person or whatever, but somehow life happened. And, you know, I like it when comics are able to do that in a way that's meaningful and makes some sense. So
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. But I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed Kurt. Some of Rogue's her dialogue was kind of hard for me to read. I think it's just because I'm really tired. But like, they put so much of her southern twang in there, and I'm like, I live in North Carolina. Like, it's not the South of the South, but it's still South. And I say y'all a lot, but like, what the fuck? Like, there was so much twang in there. I was like, Jesus Christ. I feel like they overdid it, but I know she's got the twang depending on what version of Rogue.
That's just like classic Claremont, though. That's like, you know,
yeah.
Like, I'm surprised we didn't have more "my guts" from Kurt. So
I know, but it definitely did feel more like reading like a 70s or at least an 80s comic again, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, I just, you know, it was, you know, what I really enjoyed about it was it answered a lot of questions without like ending the chapter. You know, it's still open for a lot, and we've already talked about this, but it's still open for so much to come from it, because there's a lot unresolved, even though we did get some resolution here and there and some answers, and you know, it was satisfying, incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, I think so. As well. And again, I agree with you. I like that it didn't just close books, because that's the thing with this family. You should never close the book. Like, yeah, you can finish a story with them, but then there's always another story. These aren't the characters that you just shut it and go. They did make it so that they're gonna be separated for a while, apparently, it seemed like, which is whatever, but I'm hoping that we will see them again in Uncanny X-Men. But that does make me think that it's going to be a while until we see them in the Uncanny X-Men run that GAIL's writing with Kurt and Rogue and Gambit and Wolvie. So I think Jubilee's in there too. So yeah, we'll see. I'm excited.
Well, you know what will always help solve family problems?
Oh no.
A grandchild.
No, Lisa, do not have children to solve your problems, everyone. I know Lisa's joking, but I have to say that because I fucking hate it when people are like, oh yeah, we almost got divorced, but then we had the kid to stay together. No, don't do that.
Okay, well, like, you don't have to smash my nocturne dreams so thoroughly, but all right, whatever.
Listen, no, see, you don't need to have her to solve problems. He needs to focus on himself, because his crazy parents are out in fucking Wonderland. So Kurt, what he should do is focus on himself, allow himself to find love, and in love, he will find his own family outside of those silly parents that we love so much, and Rogue, who we love so much, obviously.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Lauren has spoken. Judge Lauren.
I'm here. Listen, Gail, I don't know what you're doing or what editorial is letting you do, but we have some ideas. So
oh my God,
do with them what you will.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, you should probably, she should talk to Steve Orlando because he's writing Scarlet Witch, and they should talk about things together. That's what I say.
Yeah, I love Steve Orlando. He did a Supergirl run I really like as well. That was part of Rebirth.
Nice.
So I like him. Well, he's good at writing characters.
Very nice. All right. Well,
so there's hope for you, Lisa. There's hope.
God, I'm holding on to I'm holding on to every last shred of hope, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna start casting spells to try and bring Nocturne back. It's gonna be real. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for another fabulous episode of simplyamazing.com. Wait, no, Simply Amazing. Not .com. We're at simplyamazingpod.com is what our website is, but I don't know where I was going with that. So come find us on everything. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on mostly Twitter. But we do have a YouTube, and we do have Instagram that we never update because but whatever, you can find us there. And Lauren, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at friendlymBHDBI. If you want to find my other stuff, there's a link in the bio on there. Just click the link and find me wherever the heck else you want. And yeah, I know kind of earlier when we were randomly talking for like 5 minutes, I mentioned that like Google Podcasts moving to YouTube. So if you guys listen to a podcast somewhere that isn't like Spotify or Apple Music, just be sure you're keeping up with like your podcast provider, because I'm noticing quite a few of them are starting to merge or shift some stuff. Do that obviously for us, but also do that for your other podcasts. I don't want you guys to one day be like, why can't I listen to my podcast? That would really suck. So keep an eye on your emails. They'll email you if there's changes, or they're supposed to at least. Big companies, who knows what they do. So if you don't check your email, check your freaking email. If you don't monitor your email, if you don't delete your emails, check your freaking email, please.
It reminds me,
please check them.
I should check my email. Yeah, well, I say fuck the other podcast because who cares?
Lisa, no.
But no, we love everybody. We love all the podcasts and everybody in the whole world. It's amazing. So we are so happy to have you guys listening. If you like us and subscribe us, and send us a message or whatever.
Gail Simone said too. I'm gonna put that on some banner. It's gonna say like and subscribe -- Gail Simone, because she said that.
Gail Simone said it, so you have to do it. It's like it's meant to be.
It's law now.
Yeah, and if you are out there listening and you are going to be writing Uncanny X-Men come September, we are so excited for it, Gail. We can't wait because you're simply amazing.